Imagine the person you trust the most, the one who knows all your secrets, comforts you when you're at your lowest, and sits across from you, smiling. Now imagine that same person plotting your murder. No break-in, no stranger in the dark, just pure betrayal from someone you thought would never hurt you. This is the cruel reality behind 3 disturbing cases where killers hid in plain sight, disguised as spouses, lovers, and friends. Let's dive into the sinister tales of Stacey Castor, Jodi Arias, and Pam Hupp. David Castor lived a seemingly ordinary life in Syracuse, New York. He was a hard-working business owner who enjoyed outdoor activities like snowmobiling and boating. In 2003, he married Stacey, a woman who fit perfectly into his orderly world. Stacey brought along 2 teenage daughters, Ashley and Bry, and David's life transformed overnight. While the blended family appeared normal on the outside, tensions brewed. David was strict and structured, qualities that clashed with raising teenagers. But no one suspected just how dark things would become. On August 22, 2005, Stacey made a frantic 911 call, reporting that David had locked himself in their bedroom and wasn't responding. Police forced their way inside and found David dead on the bed, naked, next to a glass of green liquid and a bottle of antifreeze on the floor. Stacey sobbed uncontrollably, insisting David had been depressed and drinking heavily. At first, the scene supported her story. No signs of struggle, no visible injuries. But detectives noticed inconsistencies. For one, David's fingerprints weren't found on the glass or the antifreeze container. Only Stacey's were. Then came the most bizarre clue: a turkey baster found in the kitchen garbage, sticky with antifreeze and containing David's DNA. The turkey baster suggested something horrifying. David had been force-fed poison. When investigators dug deeper into Stacey's past, they discovered a disturbing pattern. Her first husband, Michael Wallace, had also died under mysterious circumstances in 2000. At the time, his death was ruled a heart attack. Stacey had declined an autopsy. In 2007, Stacey invited her daughter Ashley to share drinks to celebrate her upcoming 21st birthday. The next morning, Ashley was found unconscious next to a typed suicide note, confessing to killing both her father and stepfather. But Ashley survived and swore she never wrote the note. Digital forensics proved she couldn't have. The note had been typed while she was in class miles from home. Even worse, the note included a strange misspelling, antifree, instead of antifreeze, the same slip Stacey had made in a police interview. With this evidence, police exhumed Michael Wallace's body. Toxicology revealed crystals of ethylene glycol, the active ingredient in antifreeze, still preserved in his tissues. Both husbands had been poisoned in the same exact way. Stacey Castor was arrested in 2007. At trial, she claimed innocence, but the evidence was overwhelming, from the turkey bastard to the digital note to the antifreeze. In 2009, she was found guilty and sentenced to 51 years to life in prison. But Stacey never served her full sentence. In 2016, she died of a heart attack in prison, never confessing to the murders or to attempting to kill her daughter. Behind her calm exterior and maternal smile was a cold, calculating killer, a predator hiding in plain sight. Travis Alexander was born into chaos. Raised in a home plagued by addiction and instability, he eventually found peace with his grandparents, where he discovered his faith and ambition. A devout member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Travis built a successful career as a motivational speaker and salesman. In 2006, he met Jodi Arias at a work conference. She was beautiful, magnetic, and their chemistry was instant. Despite the distance between their homes, Arizona and California, they began dating. Eventually, Jodi moved closer and even converted to Mormonism, with Travis himself baptizing her. But the relationship soon turned toxic. Friends noticed Jodi's obsessive behavior, clinging to Travis, reading his emails, showing up uninvited. She was jealous, possessive, and increasingly unstable. Despite breaking up, The pair continued an on-again, off-again relationship. Travis's friends warned him repeatedly. One even joked, "We're going to find you chopped up in her freezer." On June 9th, 2008, after days of silence, Travis's friends broke into his home and found him brutally murdered. His body was slumped in the shower, covered in blood. He had been stabbed 27 times, his throat slit nearly to the spine, and shot in the head. Jodi changed her story. First, she blamed masked intruders. Then, she claimed self-defense. But DNA told a different story. Her bloody palm print was found at the scene. The wounds, the evidence, the deleted photos. It all painted a clear picture. Jodi had killed Travis in a jealous rage. At her 2013 trial, the world watched as she took the stand, spun lies, cried, and changed her story again and again. But it didn't matter. She was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole in 2015. To this day, Jodi continues to serve her sentence, selling artwork from behind bars and attracting disturbing fan support. What began as a romance ended in one of the most brutal betrayals imaginable. A woman Travis once loved became the architect of his horrific end. Betsy Faria was full of life, a bubbly spirit with a quirky personality. She ran her own DJ business, loved the outdoors, and lit up every room she entered. In 2000, she married Russ Faria, and together they built a loving home with her 2 daughters. But in 2010, tragedy struck. Betsy was diagnosed with breast cancer, which later spread to her liver. With limited time left, she focused on making memories, planning a cruise, spending time with loved ones, and embracing each day with joy. During this time, she leaned heavily on a friend, Pam Hupp. Pam often drove her to chemotherapy appointments and became a consistent, comforting presence. On December 27, 2011, Pam dropped Betsy off at home after a treatment session. That same night, Russ returned home from game night with friends to find Betsy murdered, stabbed 55 times with a knife protruding from her neck. Despite his airtight alibi, validated by witnesses and time-stamped receipts, Russ was arrested and charged with her murder. Pam testified against him, painting him as a volatile husband angry over life insurance money. In 2013, Russ was convicted. But 2 years later, a new legal team uncovered troubling details. Just 4 days before Betsy's death, her life insurance policy had been changed. The sole new beneficiary, Pam Hupp. Pam claimed she intended to give the money to Betsy's daughters, but there was no proof she ever did. Her story changed multiple times about whether she entered the Faria home that night. In 2015, Russ was retried. This time, without Pam's misleading testimony and with new evidence, he was acquitted. Justice was served. But the mystery surrounding Betsy's real killer remained. Then, in 2016, things took an even darker turn. Pam lured Louis Gumpenberger, a mentally disabled man, into her home under the false promise of a TV interview. She shot him in the head, then staged the scene to look like he was trying to kidnap her on behalf of Russ Faria. But police weren't fooled. The scene was clearly staged. She even stabbed herself with a pen to appear as a victim. Pam was arrested and later entered an Alford plea, avoiding the death penalty, but receiving life in prison. In 2021, she was officially charged with Betsy Faria's murder. Her calculated schemes, manipulations, and total lack of remorse shocked the world. NBC even dramatized her story in a series titled The Thing About Pam. 3 lives shattered, and the killers weren't strangers lurking in the shadows. They were trusted partners, friends, and lovers. Stacey Castor poisoned her husbands and tried to frame her own daughter. Jodi Arias brutally murdered a man who had once trusted her with his heart. Pam Hupp betrayed her best friend and framed an innocent man to cover her tracks. In each case, the horror didn't come from monsters we imagine, but from people the victims knew intimately. That's what makes these stories so chilling. Evil didn't knock on the door. It already had a key, so stay alert, stay aware, and always remember, sometimes the person you should fear most is the one sitting right beside you. Thanks for watching Killer in Plain Sight, 3 twisted true crime cases. If these stories shocked you, imagine how many more are out there, still hidden, still unsolved, still walking free. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the darkest corners of the human psyche.